Hey, what's going on? Oh, it's been a crazy, about a crazy. Well, today's Wednesday, so it's been a crazy week. Um, Big break in the routine. Not so much that I took a break, but just a break in how I would normally be doing things. So Thursday I had to drive up to Erie. I had an appointment that I had to. Well, I don't want to get into the details of why I was up there. I had to go up and take a licensing exam. I'm not going to get into what it was for. Um, I get up there, and for me, Erie's about an hour and a half drive. So I get up there, and I find out that I'm unable to take the test. Partially my fault. Um, I didn't have some information they needed, but I also didn't know I had to have this information, and I just had no real reason to know that I had needed this information. So I didn't get my cardiac rehab in that day, so that pushes cardiac rehab out another session. Um, Friday came and went. I don't remember what happened Friday. Um, all I know is that it wasn't a good day. Friday wasn't a good day either. Saturday comes around. I'm back up to Erie again, but for a different reason. This was family stuff up there. So I couldn't get my 8 miles in on Saturday. I was up there all day. We got up there. We got up there at like 9:30. By the time we came back, the sun had long since gone down. So it was very much an all day thing. Sunday comes around. I have church in the morning, followed up with lunch with friends, followed up with going over to my buddy's house and check out his new house that he's restoring. By the time we got back, it wasn't early. By the time we get back, it was like 3 or 4. Um, Running wasn't happening at that point. I was too tired. It wasn't exactly nice out. So that brings me around to Monday. Still haven't got my 8 miles in. Going to go up to Erie to retake my test. This time I had everything I needed. Skipped another day of cardiac rehab, so now all told, my cardiac rehab has been pushed out 2 sessions, not one. And but while I was up in Erie, I decided I am going to get my 8 miles in at Presque Isle State Park. If for anyone who doesn't know, Presque Isle is a peninsula that juts out into Lake Erie. They do a half marathon and marathon there every year. I have run both. It is very flat, and they basically have like a walking fitness path that goes around the whole peninsula, basically. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go and do 8 miles, 4 miles out, 4 miles back, up there. So I do that, and it was cold. It was about 10 degrees colder up there than it was here. You're only talking like an hour and a half drive, and it was a difference about 10 degrees. Plus, you're right up there on the lake, so when I got there, it was pretty breezy. About the time I got about 2 miles in, and the breeze kind of died down a little bit, which was nice. But it was cold, 40s, I think, which I don't like running it really outside any colder than that. I have and I will, but I don't like to. So numbers. What was it? 8 miles, 1 hour, 33:07. That works out to about 11:38 minutes per mile if the calculator that I use is correct. And I negative split. My second 4 miles was faster than my first 4 miles. I did push harder on my second. Heart rate training the whole time. I did let my heart rate go a little higher on that second 4. But I tell you, 11:38 minute per mile. I'm stunned that I'm able to do that. All things considered, I always figured I'd get to sub 12 eventually. I'm talking like post surgery. When I decided I was going to get back into running once I got kind of the all clear, I always knew I'd kind of get back there. I never thought in my wildest dreams it would happen this quick. For reference, my fastest marathon that I ran, this is going back a number of years, this has been like 2008, I think. My minute per mile time for the first half of that race was, I think it was in the 11:20s. I don't remember for sure. It definitely slowed down as that race went on. For a couple of reasons. One, just tired. but two, the second half of the course was quite a bit more difficult than the first half. But still, it's also my only marathon that I ran under 5 hours. I think it was a 4:55, which I know is below average for the average marathon finisher. I read a statistic the past couple weeks, last week, that somebody did a study of all of the marathons run in the United States, or at least most of them, a good percentage of them anyway, and they said the average marathon finish of all finishers is, I want to say it was 4 hours 29 minutes. That's the average. So I'm kind of shooting for that next year when I go to do my first marathon back. It would be a PR by about 25 minutes. But yeah, it's not a hard and fast goal. If I don't hit it, I'm not gonna fret over it or anything. But I think it's doable. I've got over a year to get there, so we'll see. And that's something I've never really done before. I've always been a just finish marathoner. Just finish under the time constraint, usually 6 hours, and I was happy. I think now that I've kind of gotten this new lease on life, and am going to have the time to maybe put a little more effort into training, that I actually will shoot for getting some faster times. I don't know that I'll ever be sub 4, but I think 4.5 is doable for me. But yeah, and that's actually kind of what leading into what I thought that I had. Early on when I started making these videos post-surgery, it was shortly after the first of the year, I talked a little bit about New Year's resolutions and the fact that most people don't seem to stick to them. I've noticed the gym that I go to, there's a heck of a lot fewer people there now than there was in the month of January. And I'm one of those people. I don't go as much as I did then, but I still do go. And these past 6 days has kind of opened my eyes as to why. People start out going down, at least I know for me, maybe I shouldn't speak for anybody other than myself, but you start down this path of doing something positive, and then life gets in the way. And this has been a problem that I've had a lot with marathon training, just because it is such a time commitment that things are gonna come up and you'll get derailed. But what I'm realizing now is that the sooner you get back to doing what you set out to do, you haven't failed, you just had a setback. And the sooner you get back to it, by the time you get to where you're trying to be, you'll realize that little setback was just that. It was a little setback. It seems big at the time. I mean, for me, like I said, it derailed me for about 5 days. And it would be really just throw in the towel, or to get complacent and get lazy and say, you know what, I did it this time, I can do it next time, and the time after that, the time after that. Every time I got new mileage, I'll just push it back a couple days. Before you know it, the new mileage has been pushed back now 2 weeks, and now I'm not where I need to be to get to, finishing my race comfortably. So, yeah, it was just, if you get derailed, get back on track as quick as you can and put it in your past. Don't make a setback a habit, and then because then that just becomes your life, and now your life is a setback. But yeah, like I said, just a thought I had. I don't know, just felt like rambling. That's about it. Next week is next weekend I should say is less miles, no new miles. Week after that, those 9 miles. 9 miles is always kind of the benchmark that I use for when my long runs change. I take something with me to eat. I usually switch over from water to electrolyte, or I'll carry both. I'm probably going to carry both. I've got a training vest and I need to use it. I need to get used to wearing it, so because I got some bigger stuff planned for in the future. And also the big one is 9 miles is when I start using Body Glide on my nether regions, because parts rub together and it hurts for days afterwards if you don't. It mixes with all the salty sweat. Yeah, maybe a little too much information, but yeah, like I said, 9 miles has always sort of been my benchmark as to when my training takes a change. So, but that's it. Take it easy.